Today we're going to be focusing on circles, and we're going to look at circumference and area of circles. So I have a couple vocab terms that I want to help you learn and start to memorize here. A circle is a two-dimensional shape where all the points are the same distance from the center. We all have seen a circle and know what a circle is. We learned that shape when we were young, but the formal definition is there, a two-dimensional shape where all the points are the same distance from the center. So if you pick the center of that circle, all of those points are the same distance away. So then the radius is the distance from the center to the edge. If I were going to draw a radius on this circle, that would be my radius right there. It's just the center to any outer spot on the circle. There's more than one radius. There's infinitely many, but it's the distance from here to the edge. And then diameter is the distance straight across. It goes through the center. So this is my radius. My diameter goes through the center point and connects both sides. So this is my diameter. Again, diameter, there are lots of diameters. We can draw that diameter in any direction, but it needs to go through the center and touch both edges here. So when we talk about perimeter, we're talking about the distance around a two-dimensional shape. We can talk about perimeter of squares, rectangles, circles. There are lots of different ways that we can find perimeter. The perimeter of a circle is called circumference. So circumference is the distance once around the circle. And what we're going to do to help us find circumference is we're going to be using pi, what we call pi. And pi looks like this up here. This says 2 pi r. I'm going to actually put it here as well. This is our little pi mark. And pi is the circumference of a circle, so the distance once around, divided by the diameter. And every time you take any circle and you measure the circumference and the diameter and you divide them, you're going to get pi, which is an irrational number. And here's the beginning of it, 3.141592654, and it would continue on and on and on, keep going, because it is an irrational number, which means it's a decimal that doesn't repeat and doesn't terminate or doesn't end. So if we open up here then, now that we've got through some of that vocab, we're going to do some exploring. What is a ratio? We're going to review this. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities by division. A comparison of two quantities by division. And pi is a ratio. It's circumference to diameter. Or circumference divided by diameter. And then it says, is pi rational or irrational? And how do you know? Well, we talked about this on the front. It's irrational because it's a decimal that never repeats and never terminates. So how do we use pi to find circumference? Well, circumference, capital C is how I'm going to call circumference, is equal to pi times diameter, or we know that the diameter is just two radius put together. So we could say that also circumference, capital C, is equal to 2 pi r because it's two radiuses times pi. 2 times the radius would give us the diameter, and then we multiply by pi. So it's the same thing. I'm just going to put a little note down here. Diameter is equal to 2 times my radius. So when we are asked to find the circumference of a problem, if it asks for the exact, we would do 2 times the radius times pi. So for example, maybe we have 2 times a radius of 5 times pi. That would be 10 pi. This is the exact circumference. Or we could use diameter times pi. In this case, I'm saying, okay, I have a radius of 5, which means I have a diameter of 10. So 10 times pi, and 10 times pi we would write as 10 pi. And so this is the exact circumference in what we call in terms of pi. Is exact. An estimated circumference says we're going to take 2 times the radius times 3.14. We're going to estimate pi to be 3.14. And if I do that for this example, 2 times 5 times 3.14, my estimated amount, or my estimated circumference here is 31 4/10. Or I can do diameter times pi, which in this case is 10 times approximately 3.14, or estimated as 3.14. And when I multiply those, I get 31 4/10. So an estimated answer is written in decimal form. We use 3.14 to approximate. An exact answer gives us the answer in terms of pi, which means 10 pi is the exact circumference of this circle right here. So on the next couple of videos, we're going to talk through a little bit more examples. But this beginning video just laid the foundation for what is a circle, what is circumference, how do we use pi, what is pi, and then kind of distinguishing between exact answers and estimated answers, which we'll dive more into when we get to our examples.